We turn back to Florida and that state's evolving politics. 2 decades, of course. It was a very, very different state.
Tom, actually, all Al Gore needs is Florida. All George Bush needs is Florida.
Oh, that's right. It's 249, right? It's down to Florida.
It's Gore 249, right. Bush 246 right now.
Right.
With Florida, Oregon, and Wisconsin outstanding. In Wisconsin, only 18 electoral votes. Right. They need Florida. Florida, Florida, Florida. Let me show you one more time, Tom. This is it, right here. Florida, Florida, Florida,
Florida. Election night 2000, when Florida captured the attention of the country. It was so close. Then Governor George W. Bush, of course, would go on to win by a very slim margin. 2 decades later, President Trump won the state by 3 percentage points. It was a huge victory. So, how did Florida go from swing state to Republican stronghold? Our colleagues at The Hill are out with the first of 5 parts of a series looking at that very question. To discuss, we have Philip Levine, former Democratic mayor of Miami Beach, with us. And we should say, obviously, Donald Trump won by 3 points. Ron DeSantis won by multiple double digits, turned Miami red in this huge change. Did Florida change? Did the politics of Florida change? Did the electorate change?
Leland, I think it was a combination of both. I think what happened is this. The Democrats are selling a product that Floridians really don't want, okay? The Democrats are looking at the United States and thinking somehow that they're going to operate Florida like some of these, I would just say, progressive cities are being run with high taxes and with all types of crime going on and border issues and so on. And I think that Florida change in a way that people coming from California, coming from New York, coming from Chicago is saying, we want nothing to do with that. That's why we're coming to Florida. Why are you selling us something that we're fleeing right now? And I think that was a mismatch, and it's continued to be the case. So goes Florida, so goes the nation, and the Democratic Party needs a major awakening in order to sell a product that Floridians really want. So it was a combination of both happening at the same time.
I'm bringing Bob Cusack from The Hill, and I'm going to ask Bob this question. You let him talk to you as well. Why did you all view Florida as so important?
Well, just because it was such a key state, and going into these presidential elections, now Democrats are a huge underdog, and that's for a number of reasons. The pandemic is one. Number 2 is recruiting and organization. Republicans have been very good. They've been getting some strong candidates like Marco Rubio, who easily won his re-election last year, along with DeSantis. I mean, Democratic Party, and a question I would ask, Philip, I know there's a new team on the Democratic Party trying to pick up the pieces. Do you think that team can turn things around and make this, again, a purple state instead of a red state?
I think time will tell. But you know what? You can do all they want. You could have the greatest Democratic Party in Florida. You could be on the ground. You could be knocking on doors. But remember something. It's the message and it's the messenger. If you're selling a product people don't want, I don't care how great your party is in Florida. No one's walking into your store. Think of what Ron DeSantis was selling. He was selling, I'll make sure our state is safe. Our cities will be safe. I'll make sure that we're going to be against wokeism. We're going to allow parents to have more control in the schools. We're going to keep our taxes low. We're going to run Florida the way Floridians want it to be run. If the Democrats can't take part of that message and actually begin to promote that message really authentically, then no one's buying their product. And you can't do that with a progressive agenda. And as you know, a lot of these Democratic parties across the country are being controlled by progressive agendas, and they keep doing the same thing over and over again. They nominate people that the state does not want. They need to nominate, I've got to say it, radical centrists, folks that are selling a product that Floridians want. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think, Leland, what happens is, let's not forget the history of Florida. And the Florida used to be very democratic for more than 100 years. And I think this is no chia pet growth. It didn't happen overnight. I think Republicans have been really, really on message and on target in developing that following. I think it started back in the day with Gingrich and the contract with America. I think it started with Jeb Bush. I think it was a time in 1994 where they started to change the legislature. The Senate became Republican. 2 years later, the House became Republican, and then they got their governor, right? So I think it's been long in the making. And Obama was that he did get the votes twice in a row. I think it speaks to his organization, not to be confused with the Democratic Party of Florida organization, where they continue to be weak and they continue not to pick the right candidates.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.